welcome back. We've got friends and demos, and we're talking about shifting test left. I've heard about shifting left, but now we're going to talk about shifting test left. Try to say that 10 times fast. I've got my friends Stephen and Ellie here from Docker. I love me some containers. I love me some Docker whales. Docker whale action.
We're gonna have some whales over here.
Are we?
Absolutely.
Ooh,
we tried to bring some with us.
Yeah, you brought some whales with you. Awesome, awesome. All right, so you're here to talk about shifting left, particularly with test. So let's demystify this a little bit and talk about what does that mean for developers from a Docker perspective.
Excellent. So for us at Docker, we are really big about giving developers confidence in the software that they write early in the development cycle. We often talk about all of the things developers do in the inner development loop. As they're building, debugging, and testing their code in their IDE, on their machine, even oftentimes before they check in their code into a Git repository. And for us, getting developers more productive in the inner loop is very, very core to us. Because not only does it mean that you're finding issues faster, you're getting more confidence in what you're building, you're finding issues much earlier in the development cycle, but also as engineers, what's really core to us is the satisfaction we get from building software. And by being able to find issues and be more productive as we are developing, it actually makes your engineers and us as engineers happier. So we are thrilled to show you today two things, two specific examples of how you are able to get more confidence in the software that you're writing early in your development cycle.
So we're finding all this stuff out well before we run into production and start falling over on things, right?
That is correct.
All right. I heard there's demos.
There's demos.
I'm only here for the demos, no offense.
Absolutely. So our first demo, we're going to talk about a new offering we have at Docker called Docker Debug. You can try Docker Debug out today in the latest versions of Docker Desktop. And so here I have a simple Python website running. It appears I might have forgotten to update it from last year.
It is not 2023, my friend.
No, it is not.
As much as I live in a time zone.
Yeah, and the whale's missing. I promised you whales, and there's no whale. So
yeah, that says whale.gif there.
No problem. So we'll just go into the container. We'll do Docker exec.
Hang on, wait. You're not doing Docker exec live on a demo, are you?
I am, because everybody's had such a pleasant experience with them.
It is
right?
so easy to use, right, everyone? Yeah. Right? Chat, you with me? No.
Of course, and obviously live on the demo, I forgot my shell. There we go. Now I'm in, and so no problem. I'm just going to open up the file. Oh, wait.
Hang on.
Don't have nano. No problem. Let's try Vim.
Yeah, we're good. No, we're not good.
No. Let's see what's running with HTOP. Nope, nothing there either. And so here's the problem, Joey. This is a slim container, as most containers are today. And the great thing about slim containers is they're great for security, and they're great for your resource management because they strip out everything that's not needed. What they're not great for is debugging and trying to figure out when something's wrong because it doesn't have your applications on it. So no problem. That's why we developed Docker Debug. So I am just going to go into this. Oop. Too many keys here.
I can't type on demos live either.
Yeah,
it's
there
all
we go.
good. It's all
now
good.
I'm in, and what Docker Debug is a shell that's attached running NixOS, and we can bring all our tools with us to whatever container we're going to. So you install a tool once, and it's there. And so here I can see, just by running HTOP, I see all my processes running in this container. You can run other common tools, but for now, I'm just going to go in and edit this container. So here we go. Update the year, and I think I found the typo in my file. And let's refresh.
We have whales.
We have whales.
We have whales. You promised.
I did promise. And so, as I mentioned, lots of different tools. I'm just going to run, a simple library called tree. I don't have it installed. No problem. We're just going to install this. And now, this is the magic of a live demo. This takes 15 to 20 seconds.
So we're going to stand here and stare at each other
We
awkwardly?
are very awkwardly, talk about the pretty whale on the screen. But the beauty is once this is installed, whenever I run Docker debug on any container, I have all the packages. So think of it as like a toolkit if you're an electrician going house to house. Rather than relying on the tools that the person in the house has, when you show up, you actually have your toolkit. You're comfortable using those tools every house you go. It makes you more efficient. Now I have this installed, and my simple directory shows up.
Okay, hang on. Let me ask you one quick question here. You said any container.
Any
What
container.
about container state, any of that stuff? Do you have to think about those things?
So that's a great point. One of the great things about Docker debug is that unlike Docker exec, which only runs on running containers,
Yep.
Docker debug can actually go into a stop container or images. Let me show.
Okay.
So we're going to stop this container really quick. And click, there we go, more live demo magic.
We love it. It's all good. It's all good.
There we go, it's stopped. We're going to click on the exec tab in Docker desktop and it's not working because it's not running.
Right.
So all I'm going to do is flip on debug mode. This loads up.
Whoa, wait.
And now I'm going to run that, that simple tool I just installed. It's running there on the stop container. I can run htop, see that nothing's running in the actual shell itself. I have access to the file. This is the magic of Docker debug. And so anybody can try this out today on the latest versions of Docker Desktop.
And you also talked about not just stop, but also the images itself.
Yeah, you can run this directly on an image itself and go see the details of what's in the image. Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
cool. Very
so
cool.
I'm going to hand it over to Ellie, who's going to show us what we have in store with test containers.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right, pressure's on, Ellie.
For sure. I'm excited too. So Steven talked to you about debugging, right? And debugging in containers. But how do you get productivity even before you check in your code and before you are in a container, before you're running in a container? Today, I'm going to talk to you about a library, an open source library that we have that's called test containers. And what test containers allows developers to do is it allows developers to get real feedback right in their IDE as they're building their software without the need for a staging environment or anything else. So today, as you're building software, you can do unit testing, right, in your local IDE, or you can go and depend on a staging environment after you check in your code. I'm going to show you something slightly different, where you're able to get this feedback right in your inner loop and discover bugs as you go along. Test containers is an open source framework that's built in over 10 languages. Let me show you how it works.
Yes, let's take a look.
All right, so what I have over here is I have a weather application in .NET catering to the audience over here, right? And typically, in order to test an application, I would need to have SQL Server running. I would need to manage its state. I would need to clean stuff in SQL Server.
Sure.
What I'm able to do over here is I'm able to say in code, hey, give me a Microsoft SQL container, right?
Okay.
Right here. And then what I'm able to do is I'm able to say, hey, okay, this is a functional test. It will start the application, it will hit the API, and it will check the number of results that it gets back. And what I'm able to do without any setup, with very little magic, almost none, I'm able to hit run right in my IDE over here. And there we go, I'm doing the live demo over here. And what happens under the covers is my application is starting. My application is bringing SQL Server, starting a fresh SQL Server.
Wait.
It will run the test against it. And when it's done, it will remove it and make it disappear. What it allows us to do, it allows us to do self-contained, idempotent, repeatable tests without depending on a staging environment or anything else. So let's see a live demo over here. Let's see what actually happens as we go along over here.
So while that's running, there's no back-end cloud infrastructure.
There is a little bit of a trick over here.
Okay, all right.
There we go. Thank you.
I knew there was a catch. I got him.
This runs perfectly locally, but in this particular instance, we're using an ephemeral cloud solution called Test Containers Cloud.
Okay.
Which allows us to have the same testing regardless of whether I'm running on a Windows, on a Mac, whether I'm doing it in my local development or in a CI environment, I get absolutely the same backend, and I get ephemeral resources on demand. So if we go back to the demo over here, oh wait, this was a test that was expecting 7 days of results. And the test actually, wait, it shows that it was expecting 8. Actually, it was the test that was wrong in this particular instance. So what I'm able to do over here, I'm able to fix the bug, and then instantly over here, click run again, and it will do it over again, and it will go and get it running as we go. And because you've talked a little bit about the fact that we're using run over here, so we're using the cloud over here. What I'm able to do is I'm able to go into Test Containers Cloud, and I'm able to see, oh, look, those are the sessions. Steven over here, I'm logged in as Steven, is doing some testing. He is doing testing with SQL Server. Here are the containers that are starting, and I'm able to connect to that session and see what's running, what's the data that's inside of that container. And you're able, oh, there we go, connect terminal, and it will connect to that container in a second. There we go. And I can do all the commands over here on the container. Let's go back to the IDE. Let's see the test results. There we go. My test has passed.
You've passed your test.
There we go.
No need to take all of this, move it to another environment. It's all right there, and you haven't even left your IDE.
I haven't left my IDE, and I'm able, as others check in their test, I'm able to clone the test, and I'm able to hit run, and I'm able to get the same results. Because the test has everything it needs in order to test the functionality repeatedly, right? And test containers, just briefly, as I said, available in 10 languages. And you can test anything that's available as a container. And we have a full suite of integration convenience methods, including a number of services in Azure, including Microsoft SQL Server, as I've just demoed, and Kafka, and many other partner integrations.
I would imagine that these modules are also growing, and people are bringing in things and expanding what's available here?
Absolutely. So the catalog over here is open source, and we have partners who are contributing catalogs, and we have many partners who are taking ownership of those modules and becoming official modules as well.
Okay, so Steven mentioned that the stuff that he was showing, available now, right? The Docker debug stuff available now. How about test containers?
Test containers is available now as well.
Very good.
It's been running out there, and we're excited to have people try it.
Okay.
And use it.
In just the couple minutes that we have left, you've been around, you've been showing this to our developers, and some of them have been clapping along. What has kind of been the sentiment? What is the feedback? What are you hearing from people as they see this like live and in person?
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing lots of people interested in learning more about containers, how they can containerize their legacy applications, utilize Docker to make them more efficient, shift left, bring more to the local environment. People who have tried out Docker debug or seen it for the first time, blown away by how much time it's going to save them from figuring out how to, no pun intended, debug exec. And so
debug exec.
Lots of excitement.
And then on your side too, Eli, as an operations person myself, who, look, we talked a lot about security today, right? We talk about going and finding all of these environments, and more importantly, treating your dev test environment as if it was production. This makes that even simpler.
We're seeing people who come and talk to us are really fascinated by the ability to go and get realistic feedback and the tooling and the functionality that we're making available for developers. So those messages resonate, and they're excited, and we're excited to see those products and those functionalities helping the lives of developers that get to use it.
If you want to find more about test containers and Docker debug and all the amazing things that you guys have been up to in Docker, head on over to the featured partners page on build.microsoft.com. Hit the little click down, go to Docker, and look at all of the things that they have. Go test their stuff and use it now, and then come back and tell us how awesome it was. Gentlemen, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Joey.
We have more coming up, so don't go anywhere. Don't leave. Stay right here.